Okay, hi, this is Jim again, and we're about to make the sweet and sour chops. An easy barbecue to do when you go away. The ingredients are on the bottom there. The little bowl with a green lid, that's rice, all-purpose seasoning, a bit of oil, olive oil I use, a sweet and sour, any of those cheap sweet and sour mixes you buy, and then there's the chops. And now I'll go through the procedure of actually cooking them. Chops ready. I've got the spice ready, all seasoning spice. You can put any spice on you like. It's sort of, I like doing it, it just makes them better. I've got 3 lamb chops here, basic lamb chops. I've put a bit of spice on one side. Then I stick them in the hot pan, the hot kettle on the top of the fire. The next trick I always do is sprinkle a bit more spice to the other side because I like it spicy. Okay, now as soon as they're sealed, we'll add the next stage. As you see, they're not cooked. They're actually still quite raw. And I turn them over, leave them for a couple of minutes, and then I'll pull them out and I'll show you what the next stage is. So now sealed on both sides, and they're only sealed. They're not cooked, nowhere near cooked, they're just sealed. Right, I pull the pot off the fire, because otherwise I have to lean over a hot fire to do the next bit. So I'll move it. It's only just come off the fire, and what I do now is I get a layer of rice. This is my little rice container, and as you can see how close I've got this container, you'll find that it's travelled all over Australia. I just bang a bit of rice in to guess about how much I want. Spread it out in the bottom of the pot, and then I pour water on. Now, okay, you say, okay, that was simple, yeah, anybody could do that in the pot, yeah, I know. But this is the trick. My chops are only sealed. I lay my chops in the water. Okay. Now I seal my pot up. The rice is totally covered with water, and the chops are almost covered in water. And it's a good idea to have them almost covered, otherwise it doesn't cook them quite right. But if you have them almost covered, it cooks them perfectly. I bang it back on the fire. Now we wait until the rice is cooked. Now let's push. Had about 25 minutes on the fire here. It's off slightly to one side so we don't boil the heck out of the rice. And it's just been cooking here quite happily. And what I'm about to do now, go in here. My rice is almost fully cooked. I stir my rice around, make sure it's all done, nice and fluffy. And then I'll take it off the fire because it's really hot sitting here. And I'll put the camera over and I'll show you the rest of it. I've got our rice off here. You can see the rice has expanded quite a considerable amount. The chops are sort of mixed in with it. I've got the sweet and sour. I just chuck her in. You hear her start to sizzle straight away. Give it a little bit of a mix. I've actually made a bit too much rice this time, but that won't matter. Now the trick is, what I usually do is I leave it sitting in the pan for about a minute or so, and that gives it enough time for the rice to soak up the sweet and sour. I have tried putting the sweet and sour on when I'm cooking it and putting it back on the fire, but I have a tendency to burn it. I reckon there's probably a lot of sugar or something in this stuff and it crystallises on the bottom of the pot, so it's not a great meal. So anyway, we've got that done. There's the chop. Well done, well cooked, a couple of chops. Now we whack out some sweet and sour. And I've got some dummies here to test things on. If they don't die, I'll eat it myself. No, really, truly, it tastes so good. And it's a nice simple meal you can make when you're away. And with a mob of kids, it's easy to feed them with this. Before, I think everybody knows what it's like to go camping. And when you've been out for a few days, you have a tendency to lose things. These cars that we have, these four-wheel drives, they eat things. And they hide them until you get back for the trip 2 or 3 months, and then they appear in the back of the car again. It's amazing the things you can lose. I lost a fork last night, but that's not serious. Okay, there's the sweet and sour. Looks good, and it tastes good. Actual fact, the rice is just about right. You gotta eat this. Hey, kids, you can't feed kids, they just go away and eat nothing. So there you go. There's another tip and trick from Jim. It's virtually a sweet and sour rice. Steamed rice, so it's not too bad for the old waistline. And a couple of cooked chops on top. And give it a go. You'll find out it's quite a simple one, it's an easy one, and it tastes pretty good. And in the background, I take no responsibility for them. Now we'll just play that back to see if I got it.